everybody.
Welcome to the Full Notice Podcast. I am your host, Ramari.
Co-host Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Hope everyone is doing well.
We hope everyone is super good.
Today, another day of grind. The grind don't stop, man.
It never stops, brother.
Man, they don't know, but
it's nonstop. It literally is nonstop.
Entrepreneurs, they work 80 hours, man, and then 90.
Man. Yo, this is so crazy.
Anyways, man, today we have a special guest. Yes. Well, we know who you are, so you want to introduce yourself, your name and what you do.
How's everybody doing today? My name is Dollerie. I'm a recording artist out of New Jersey. I met you guys, and you guys saying, you guys do this podcast, Full Notice. Shout out Full Notice, and just wanted to bring some to the table.
Yo, let me just run down how we met real quick, right? So we're here at the studio. This young brother comes up, and we immediately just start.
Bring it closer.
Word?
Yeah. And we immediately just start talking about conscious, positive things. I don't want to get right into it. As far as me explaining all the things that we talked about, because it's gonna just be a natural, organic flow. In the conversation. But I just wanna first and foremost, man, say thank you for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to get to know you.
Thank you.
I definitely want to know a lot about you. I know Kai as well. And to start the question off, man, we usually start this podcast off with this
Hold
question.
on. I think you should save that one for last. Not for last, but during the segment, because that's a good question. But hold on, I want to start off like this.
Right.
When we were chopping it up, right? There's something that you said that stood out, and you said that you started doing music, right? And you started doing a certain style, and then you transitioned into a different, I guess, genre.
Yeah, different genre, different sound. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you tell us about that, your journey, how how you transitioned?
Yeah, so basically, right, I started making music probably I don't really remember the exact, so I'll take you back a little bit. So when I was 9, I had cancer, right? When I was 9 years old, I had
Wow.
osteosarcoma. It's a bone cancer. I don't know if I should wait until, but I just...
No, go ahead, man. Go deep.
Yeah, so I went through that, and being in the hospital and stuff, it's kind of weird. It's like they tell you when to leave kind of thing. Your levels have to be right, stuff like that. So I was just in there a lot, and then eventually I winded up getting out, going through all the surgery, stuff like that. I used to be big into football, basketball. That used to be my everything. And I used to be pretty good at it too. And then I messed my leg up bad, really, really bad. I was on the trampoline jumping around, broke it. They had this tumor in my leg, and it was the size of, I think they said it was baseball, the size of a baseball. But it was just in my leg. It made the bone weak, because I don't know if you know, but the what's the bone called? I think the
Thymus?
Nope. Nah, femur.
Femur bone.
The femur bone is apparently one of the strongest bones, right? It's not really just supposed to break like that. But mine, I just did one jump, broke. Led to this whole few year battle with cancer, stuff like that.
Damn, 9 years old.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of stuff came with that I wasn't really ready for, but I'm also grateful for, because it really just prepared me, and it shifted me, because when I was in the hospital, I didn't really have much other than a TV, had some console sometimes, but it's the same bed every time. So eventually I went ahead and I got into just writing down my thoughts, stuff like that, writing down stuff like that. I love music. I always love music. And then eventually I got into the flow, just kept writing, and then next thing you know, I just kept practicing. And then I got into middle school, and I didn't really do it a lot. And then eventually I did one song on Audacity, dropped it, most ignorant song you could probably ever think of. Not ever though, but it was just so much nonsense. I was just rapping about BS, freestyle song, and then I posted it. And I trusted this one kid in school to not show anyone, and he showed this one kid in school who was known to be oh, he always talks and everything. So everyone in the school starts clowning me. They're like, oh, Dollerie, they're like, Dollerie this, Dollerie that, make this music. And the song was trash, so people would play it, people would sing it in gym class, and they knew what they were doing, you know what I mean? So I realized though, like they're still playing my song at the end of the day, and I would post a song, and in the first week it would get like 1,000 plays. And when you just start, that's like
That's
on
really good.
SoundCloud, that's like really fucking good.
Yeah.
So I was like okay, like you still play. That's how basically I took it. I ran with it. I was like, okay, you still playing it. So I just kept making
You're
songs.
looking at the metrics.
Yeah, and I just kept going. I just kept making songs, and then eventually I made this one song with the help of my buddy Jay Tavo. He helped me engineer the song, and this one song was called Ranks, right? And it really shit. Well, there was one song before that I made with my cousin Young Capital. That's who I started making music with, right?
Are you still in high school during this time?
Yeah.
Okay.
At this time, I'm still in high school, and I made this song with my cousin Young Capital. And this one song we made, right? It was called Velo and Drip, and it went crazy. Like that's when I really started using Logic. He taught me a lot with Logic, and he just helped me learn my sound in a way. So I started making all these songs, and then I did a song called Ranks where I used Logic, and then I had my boy Tava help me engineer the song. And you know, we both went both ways. Song goes out, people are loving it, like they're loving it, right? And my school, people coming up to me, oh Ranks, people throughout my whole area, they're playing it and stuff. And the song was very different because it was actually like, in a way, it was like what I really wanted to do, right? Because when I first started making songs, I was like, yo, this is rap. This is what people do. I started rapping about whatever, but that wasn't me. That's not who I am. So then I made a real song that actually I felt like was me, mixed it, posted it. Didn't think nothing of it. I was like, man, this song, this whatever. Post it. And probably like a week or two later, people just start running it up, start listening to it in the school and stuff like that. And then they just, you know, they start liking it. And then next thing you know, I'm like, you know what? Why not go down this route? Because in the song, I sang a little bit, little tiny bit. Never used to sing. Never used to do that. I just thought I had to rap. I always thought, a lot of rappers do this. They always think, I have to rap. I have to rap, nothing else.
Yeah, one dimensional.
Yeah, like if I sing, I'm a punk. Or if I sing, like, no one's going to respect me. That's not what it's about. You know what I mean? It's not about that. So I was just like, yo, like, look at Fetty Wap. Like, you know, he's hugest artist in Jersey, in my opinion. And at the same time, you got biggest. And at the same time, you gotta remember, like, he sings a lot and great at it too. So I was like, screw it. Like, I'm gonna try singing too. And I started adding it. My brother, you know, he was Broadway, he was on Broadway and stuff like that. He does musical theater. He sings too. So he helped me with my singing a little bit. And then I was like, screw it, I'm gonna start trying to sing a little bit too. And that came later on down the line. Like I would do a lot of just recording, and then eventually I started to be like, screw it, I'm gonna sing. But it was a lot more of this, like I was just rapping, like nothing special.
You did a lot of. The majority of your music was, you know, rap, like hardcore rap, or like who would be an example of the kind of music that you were producing during that time?
The singing time or the earlier?
No, your earlier, yeah, your earlier.
Damn, that's a hard one.
Who was like inspiring you to, you know, what flow were you taking on?
Well, I kind of called it trash. So I don't want to be like this guy, but I mean, it wasn't even. I wouldn't even say it was a certain type of person. I would just say it was the era of time, and I would say like I loved rap music. That's all I would listen to. Some of the artists I would say I would listen to Rich Homie Quan, Young Thug, Fetty. So that's where I understood you could sing, right? But then some of the artists I would just listen to were just not doing it, and I thought, okay. So then I'm not like, okay, I thought you had to stay with the trend. And it's when I dropped the ranks, when I realized just do what you like.
Right.
And that's when I realized you don't stay with the trend. If you stay with the trend already, once the trend makes it, that door closes.
Yeah.
There's no more, oh, I'm gonna do it again. It's like, if you really want it, you gotta do your own thing. And then I just started following my own sound. Like I would just try different things. I got a whole bunch of different influences. Like I would say, my overall influences now, I can tell you, Biggie. Biggie's like top. I love Biggie Smalls. I would say Biggie. I would say Young Thug. He definitely up there. Fetty's up there. A whole bunch, man. Rod Wave. He up there. But Rod Wave, you know, he's a little bit newer. I was making music a little bit before he would, like, I knew about him. So he became like a newer one because he really could sing. So I was like, damn.
These guys have good music.
Yeah, they got great music. And you know, X is a great artist too. X was definitely an artist that inspired me as well. He a great artist too.
Interesting because you named, you know, I really don't listen to music at all. However, the artists that you just named, I found myself listening to at some point, like X Tentacion. I think Rod Wave, and there's one more. Juice World.
Yeah, Juice WRLD is a great
Those
artist.
three artists have like the same kind of. Cause I'm more like a chill, I like
Right.
listening to kind of chill music,
Yeah,
and
that's me
those
too.
beats are just like I really enjoy
Right.
their music for sure.
Nah, definitely, definitely. And Juice WRLD too. Like one thing about Juice WRLD is he can hit so many different flows, so many different freestyles. That's why when I would say Juice WRLD is definitely an artist that inspired me. But once again, like I was before I even knew who Juice WRLD was, I was kind of already creating and I was already trying to go down my own lane. So when he came out and like was really starting to pop, like I was like, yo, this guy is raw. Like the way because he really proved to me also like this is kind of what's gonna be coming up. Like this is
The new wave.
yeah, the new wave is gonna be a lot of singing and a lot of vocals, but also then going back and rapping. And I feel like a lot of people they get caught up in a box, or a lot of artists get caught up in a box of I'm either singing or rapping. I'm either pop or I'm either hip hop. There's no oh I'm gonna do both. There's no everything because I think it's something where they paint this picture of like you have to be in one genre only. You know, I had this kid tell me in school, he was like, he heard some of my songs and he was like, I made all these songs. And he was like, yeah, but bro, I like these songs, but I think you should just stick to this one. And this one song was his opinion, right? But then I had these other people at the school who they tell me, yo, this one song, my old song, Limelight, that's their favorite song. So for me, it was like, bro, I'm not just gonna say, no, I'm not doing those type of songs no more. I already have people who like them. I'm gonna just do what I have fun making. If I have fun making rage songs on some rage beats, I have fun doing that. If I have fun making some jazz stuff, if I have fun doing Hispanic songs, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it just because I know one, when you really work on your talent, you get the ability to do that. Like, yeah, like you can't do that if you're just at home, like, yeah, I make music, but you're not are you really making music? You know, actually taking time into your craft, stuff like that. So if you're able to, and I'm not perfect, I'm still learning every day. But if you're able to practice your talent, because I never thought I would even be able to sing the way I do now, but I just kept practicing. I'll listen to my songs, I'll be mad that they sound a certain way. And then I just got to a point where I'm like, yo, like I love making music, and even though one day might be bad, the next day might be bad. So I'm just keep going again. And then now I'm at a point where literally, bro, like I hopped on an EDM beat the other day, and it was fire. Like,
Wow,
yeah,
I'm interested to hear
yeah, it
that.
was fire.
That
Like I was like, wow, because anytime I get inspiration, and now I started producing too. So now I be producing beats that sound exactly how I want them to sound. I just be on it, and I'm still like
let me
early,
let
bro.
me ask you this question. You mentioned the word inspiration. What gives you inspiration in your creative, in your creative process? What inspires you?
Um, I would say what inspires me is real life stuff. Like, and what I mean by that is literally living my life. So, I got into stocks. I like to make money. I like to hustle. I've always been a hustler. So just my hustles, I'll rap about that sometimes. And some of my songs, I got bars like, oh, I think I said take $1, flip it to an option, or something like that. But just basically like the things I've done in my life, I have to go live. I can't be in the stew. I cannot be in the stew for like a whole day straight, never leave. Or I could do that, but I can't be in the stew like 2 weeks straight, never leave, and then just keep recording. Because what happens is you run out of material. And I'm not someone I don't like I really don't like other
Writer's
people.
block.
Nah, I hate writer's block, but I don't really like other people writing for me. I've had so many people be like, oh, use this bar, use this bar. The only bars I'll say I use is the my group that I call Gas Rangers. So Gas Rangers, my boy Jay Taba said, Just Ojo, Love Peso. Those are two artists I work with. They're very, very good artists. And then my cousin Young Capital, right? So if they got a bar, oh, you should do this, I'll fit it into my thing. But they even know like I don't I like to write my own stuff because I really feel like what I'm saying is me. And if you like it, that means you actually like what I'm saying for me, not because this guy wrote it
Right,
or
right.
that
It's
guy wrote it.
authentic.
Yeah, it's authentic. So I just feel as though the only way I could get new material is if I go out, I go live my life, and that could be anything. Like I've seen a lot of things too with going through cancer. I lost a lot of people going through that because you get to go to these camps and stuff, and you're in the hospital, meet all these people, and some of those people I met, they don't come out of their surgery. It's rest in peace. And it's sad. It's sad, but it also I feel like helped influence me because a lot of those people I brought into my music and I brought into my songs. And some people will listen to those songs and be like, "Oh, I loved it." And I made a song about a beautiful girl, Melanie, right? And she was one of my great friends in high school and stuff like that. and high school and middle school, and I think elementary. But long story short, made that song. So many people are just on it. Like, yo, it was a beautiful song, and now people to this day listen to it. And Mel passed away. I think it's either a year or a year and a half ago. And people still, or might be two, but people are still listening and remembering her. And that makes me realize with your music, you can always keep things going. You can bring people in that aren't here and, keep it pushing.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned Big. How long ago did he passed away? Many years ago, and his music still is influencing the younger generation, which is incredible. The fact that music could do that. Tupac, another artist. Michael Jackson, who was a big influence on the Weeknd. It's just like people who artists that are no longer here that still have that influence, that power. There is something in music that transcends the now. It's just like the present moment is something that Bob Marley. No matter how long, I don't see that music going anywhere. You know what I mean?
It's timeless.
Yeah, timeless music.
Timeless, man.
I feel like that's kind of something that I'm going for too, right? Like, I want my music to always be something that you can always play. It doesn't have to just be one season. I definitely have songs for seasons. Like, I have a song coming out in the summer, and that will be in the beginning of the summer, and that's the vibe of summer. So I know what to do with those type of things. But I love dropping music that is for everybody, for everything, anytime. Like, you could be going out summer, winter, whatever. If you want to listen to my music, you can listen to it. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you. Well, do you have any questions? I got a
Well, I
question.
was gonna ask him something about Biggie. I was gonna ask you what's your favorite Biggie song, and then just keep it moving.
Favorite beat song, I would say I like Hypnotized. I love Hypnotized, but everyone, look, I'm gonna be honest. People gonna always be like, man, he's just saying that. Juicy is a fire song. Okay, everything about Juicy to me, like, I love that song, and my brother sometimes like, man, I didn't like that song.
Great sample.
Yeah, yo, he is fire. Like, it's a great, great song. I think everything about it, and I think it's more of how I listened to it too. One time I was in the car, Perth Amboy, right? My mother, she's born, well, not she not born and raised in Perth Amboy, but that's like the area. Like, she was went over there and stuff like that. Moved over there. A lot of families over there. So we were over there at one point. I was in the back of the car. I don't know. I think I dozed off or whatever. And when we were driving down there, and she played Juicy. Juicy was on, and I wake up and I just hear this amazing beat. Like, this beat was fire, and then I woke up like I was fresh out of a dream. Like, that's what it felt like. Like, I woke up, I hear the beat, and I'm just like, it was all a dream. And then that moment, now every time I heard that song, it just brings me back to there. So it's like, I feel like that's why to me it's my favorite song. But I get other people are like, man, there's so many better beats. I know, but I like that one.
Everyone has an opinion on songs. I mean, there's music that I may say is like the best, and people are like, what the hell, that's whack. Yeah. So my question was, with regards to your creative process, it seems as though you're multidimensional. You have a lot of different songs, ways of making music. Some artists, they stay in one place and they have their creative process. It seems like your creative process might be a bit unique because you bring in knowledge to your songs. Like, you're telling people about options in your songs. You're kind of giving, you're showing love to, friends that you have within your life and things like that. So you had mentioned the first time when we spoke that your music did a transition from going from like a very dark place to now you're more, you're dropping more knowledge, being more inspirational. Can you speak on that? What caused that?
Yeah, so I would say it's a deep one, but I got when I was doing the hip hop and stuff, I realized that music is frequencies, and a lot of people, they feel what you're putting out, right? And I just didn't like representing something that's not me, right? When I made that one song, I didn't expect it to go crazy. Some of the songs after that, I didn't expect people to ever listen. So they had a lot of, raw, just thinking this is what rap's about. And then one time I had my little cousin, like, he was at the house and stuff like that, and he was listening to it, and I was hearing what I was saying, and he's young, and he was probably like 7, and I'm hearing what I'm saying when he's listening to it, and I was like, man, like, no, like, because if I get bigger with this, all my little cousins gonna start hearing my music playing on their own, and they're all gonna be hearing me rapping about just stuff that's not me, and then also that could influence them into a bad path, and I don't want that, man. So I was like, nah, and it's not me. And I didn't make a lot of songs like that, but the amount I did, it was just enough for me to realize like, okay, it's time to change it a little bit. And then I just started making better music. But I dealt with a lot of I dealt with a lot of like anxiety. I dealt with a lot of depression, especially the whole hospital thing. What it did is it made me feel like I missed out a lot, especially on like my young days, especially because I never played football real again ever, and that was my sport. That was my favorite sport.
Let me ask, how long were you in the hospital for during that time? Was it like years of recovery? How much of your childhood did you miss? Were you? I mean, I'm assuming you weren't able to join like AA basketball teams and things like that.
I used to play all that too. Back in the day, well, even after I played AAU, but back in the day I used to play basketball. I used to play all that. And then when I broke my leg, I broke it at 9, got the cancer, and then I probably battled it till about 10 to 11 because I had surgeries going in and off. And even like it was probably this past February. Yeah, past February. Or no, now it's actually 2 years because it was the 2020 February 2021. I had gotten a heart surgery. So that's years ahead of when I even had cancer. Yeah, I'm still dealing with little things. So being in the hospital consistently with cancer, I would say it was like a back and forth thing. It was like I would go be checked in for sometimes a week, sometimes 3 straight. Sometime one time I got up to a month. And then cool, I leave, I check out, I go back home. Sometimes I would go back home, my levels be messed up. I wind up yakking. I can't stop yakking, so it's like, yo, we gotta get back in the car, go back to the hospital. And then it was kind of constant thing like that. And sometimes if my level's not right, I can't leave. That's a rule because then it's on them or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, they take
yeah,
liability for
yeah.
you.
It was a whole thing. But now, like I would say like I was basically in it enough to always want to leave. Yeah.
Do you think that you found a deeper purpose to life because of your stay in the hospital? Because you seem very mature for your
Thank
age.
you, man. Thank you so much, really, because some people have told me that, and I would say so because when I came back, death was just so normal to me, which is sad, and it was also closer. So it was like I'm just more appreciative for little things, like even just going outside, breathing. Because one thing I realized is like when I was in that hospital, when you drive by a hospital, you just drive by it. You don't know you know, yo, it's so crazy. Like on a daily basis, you hear people. Especially, I went to UMD and J at the time it was called. Now it's Rutgers Newark Hospital, and so much on in there, and not even. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to curse, but not even just like just surgeries and stuff. Like sometimes people would run in, steal, like take this, take that. The alarm goes off. Sometimes it'll be like kids like literally going through. Like they had drains in my leg one time. Started pulling them out while I'm awake, and I was screaming my head off. And it was like they were like, "Yo, like, be quiet," because they told me straight up to be quiet because there's little kids in there, and I get it, I get what they're saying, but shit was painful, man. Like can't blame me, but at the same time, it was daily like that. Mad people be screaming, mad people be going through their own thing, and you see people. I went into this one room where this one guy on the right of me, he had. I don't know exactly, or left of me. I'm sorry. I don't know exactly what it was. I don't know exact condition it was, but basically, my dad was talking to his father, and his father said that the kid would probably only live to 7. And not only will he only live to 7, but if you seen how he was on the bed, he just like he couldn't even get up. It was like to see that at 9, it just made me even appreciate being how I was. Like my leg was possibly about to get amputated, and I still was grateful that I'm even able to talk. Because when I look left, this kid is like, and the thing is yeah, kinda. But the thing is, when you look outside, right, when you drive your car, you go past the hospital, you don't know that. You just drive by and you keep going, right? But sometimes I would just wish I could be outside. I remember being at Morristown, that's another hospital I was at, and I used to look outside and be like, yo, like, I just want to leave because once they tell you, okay, now you could go. But I just remember sometimes just seeing like pictures and stuff on my phone. I had Instagram at the time. I used to see people out and stuff, and that's all I wanted, like going to a soccer game, like that's all I wanted to do, little things like that. And I don't even love soccer like that. I do love it, but like it's not my favorite sport. But I just want to go do simple stuff because, like I said, you appreciate that type of stuff.
How no, I was just gonna ask, how old are you?
Right now, I'm 20. I just turned 20, February 7th.
Were you afraid during those, let's say, the recent heart surgery? How was that process? How did you handle that?
So that one was kind of like, it was an optional one, right?
Mm-hmm.
They told me the heart rhythm I had, they don't know if it was from chemo or if it was something I was born with, but my pattern, you know, chemo does a lot of defects to you, but my pattern of the heart pattern was like up like this, and then it would go up and then straight back down.
Yeah.
So when you do that for a long period of time, your heart will go like this, and like it keeps going to a point where, I don't know if you've ever seen basketball player drops dead on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's what it's from. When your heart is raced so much, you don't know you have a rhythmic pattern. It could just shut down.
It's an irregular heart condition. Yeah,
I don't know if DeMar Hamlin had the same thing. I don't think he did, because I'm pretty sure his was cardiac arrest. But I don't know if that was from that heart pattern. So they told me you can either get rid of it by, when they go in, they take 2 needles and they either put heat to this one side if it's too close. If it's not too close to the artery, they'll freeze it. Or no, if it's not too close to the artery, they can heat it. But if it is, they'll freeze it, right? So they did that, and I had to, because it was either that or every time I play basketball, I have to think in my mind, like, okay, don't go too crazy or you'll drop dead.
Yeah.
So they were like, so what do you want, my mom? She was like, what do you want to do? I was like, just do it. Like, straight up, I was like, just do it, because, like, I'm not about to live my life constantly fearing I could just drop. Like, I don't want that. So, especially after making it this far, I'm like, I want to keep going. Like, I don't want to just be running for a jog and now it's over. Like, so we did it. It went good. And I think I would say I handled it well, simply because I already went through it a few times before. So for that one, I left the same day for that one, because it was something. Yeah, it was something with these it was like these rod things they do that it's a long story, but yeah, it's
put it in your arm or something.
Nah, not your arm. Not your arm. Basically, let's just say it's by your thigh area. Yeah. So, but I was knocked out when they do it and stuff like that. But it was stuff like, oh, you can leave. I was like, bet.
Technology, bro.
Yeah, man.
We gotta appreciate that technology.
Man. Yeah, seriously. No, I was just gonna say, like, you know, you being 20 and going back to what you were saying about, you know, the frequency, you know, change. That's a good realization, because that's something that we can relate to. You know what I mean? Like, growing up in our time with the music, and, you know, it was like hardcore rap or hip hop. It was a bit different. So, like, you know, that's great, man, because not a lot of people realize that, especially young. They don't want to hear that.
I know, and I get it, because it's like everyone wants to just make either what's hot, like what's lit, or they want to do, you know, whatever, like even something they're not. They want to be like, oh, this, but are you really doing this, that? And I understand it. Rap cap is everywhere. Even me, I'll say, like, I still have some type of rap cap in my music. Not every single thing I'm like 100% is true, and I'll say that. Okay, everybody does. I'm telling you that right now. It's entertainment, but at the same time, majority of the stuff I'm saying, even the things that are capped, they're not super capped. Like, it's not like I'm not doing it at all, right? Some of the things I might be on my way to do, like I might say, cruising like 10K in account, whatever. I might have 5K, I might have 4K, right? Or I might be like just pop the tag 30,000, right? I might, you know, I'm not always out here lying 100%, because that's the one thing I realized with my music is nobody wants to hear you lying, right? They could tell, they could see through it. And the more I would make the old type of songs, I realized it, because the more I told the truth about myself, the less views I got. Yeah, exactly. So when I was rapping about the everything, like bullshit, just straight bullshit, then it was like, yo, man, listen to this, da-da-da. Yeah.
Going with that, it's like, it's backwards. Right. You know, because it should be, you know, we're praising and admiring the real. Right. So, but we get it, you know what I mean? So
it's all an illusion. So everything, you know, especially in the entertainment industry, like, you know, what I was telling you downstairs before we came up, you know, I have met 50 Cent, and I had a discussion with him. You know, it was just something brief. You know, I was in high school, so, you know, to me he's like, oh my God, 50 Cent came. I was in the gym, and we were just sitting. You know, I was a trainer, so I was training, you know, kids, and his son ended up going to this gym. It was called at the time Sports University. It was like up Fairfield, and I just remember him walking in, and you know, you have your perception of people. So you think, you know, me, I thought, oh, 50 Cent, like, this guy, he's gonna be just a crazy dude. And I remember the first thing he said to me was G-Unit. So, like, I literally said what's up to him. I was like, oh, what's up, 50? Like, it just was out of nowhere. I'm like, 50 Cent. I was like, yo, what's up, 50?
Right.
He was like, G. And I'm like, okay.
That's funny
And,
as hell.
you know, it was mad
Right.
random, but
Yeah,
that was his flow, I guess, you know, whatever. And
yeah, that's tough though. Like that's down to earth.
yeah, and then when I was just standing there, you know, like he was standing looking at his child. His child was I think getting trained for basketball, his son. And I just asked him a few questions, and he was actually like very intellectual, you know, giving good advice, how he was speaking to people, and I was just sitting there like eavesdropping. And he's actually, you know, a very smart at that time. I picked up on that he wasn't what we saw on, you know, on television. He was actually very articulated. You know, he was articulate. He was very down to earth. He was, you know, cool with people. He was like a social guy. So, you know, it's always interesting when you get to actually meet someone that you watch them on television. They may appear to be one way, but you can't just like Brittany Renner, right? Like Brittany Renner, she went through something where, you know, she put herself out there in such a way that it basically fooled everybody. Apparently, she's not that way, you know. So
Stop the cap.
who knows?
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, well, she said that she wasn't. She was playing a role because she had started a, you know, certain way, and she
I guess fake it till you make it type.
She was just going on, you know. Apparently, she's not a 304. I mean, you know, I have my opinions on it. I don't think, you know, I don't know. I don't know her like that, so I don't know what's real, what's not. That's what I'm saying. It's like you really can't tell someone just based off their Instagram or based off, you know, what you see just on social media or in music videos.
And now you could touch so many people, man. Like, you know, now do you see that? Like you being an artist and this is basically the world right here.
Oh, bro, that's something that I think is amazing, because another thing to that, right, is every song that you make, even though you made it months ago, is still new to people that next day, tomorrow, right now. Someone might be just found my song 5 years ago, came out, right, and he's probably like, yo, this slap, right, just because he just found it. So for me, it's like I want to make, like we talked earlier, everything on the internet, it stays there, right? So the songs I want to leave on the internet, I want them to stay there. I really do. But I don't want them to stay there and represent me in a horrible way. Like, I want them to represent me somewhat good. And the thing is when I went through when I started getting my treatment, when I went through that, right, and then I dealt with my whole anxiety, all that stuff that came after it, right? The reason I don't like to say all of it is just because it's like, I know a lot of people go through it. I know a lot of people go through their own things. But for me, what helped me when I was going through it was channeling it into the music. And it literally was talking about the shit that was fucking me up and just putting it in a song. Because then when I would do that, it's like I literally would release it. And then when I would talk to people about it, I wouldn't feel nearly the same way. I would just be able to talk about it.
It was like therapeutic, you could say, right?
Literally. And people, this kid, I'll never forget, man. This is literally what gave me so much motivation to just keep going, right? This kid, he texted me one day. He was my friend in high school, and he was in my Spanish class, right? And I remember, like, after a certain period of time, he wasn't there no more. Like, he wasn't after we moved on to the next year, but still, I never seen him around the hallways, nothing. And he DM'd me one day saying that, you know, he went through drug rehab, he went through therapy because he really got, you know, badly involved with drugs. And he said that he listened to my music when he was in there, and now he got out and he's doing like 10 times better. And it's going to be a little messed up, but I seen him at Villa Capri. It's this restaurant up by me in my house. And I seen him, and I was like, is that him? And the reason I couldn't tell is because the kid is so healthy now. Like, I literally couldn't tell if that was him. Like, he literally, when I used to remember him, he used to be a little bit, you know, heavier, stuff like that. But now he lost the weight. He looks real healthy. And that little addiction he went through, I'm like, sure he knocked it, because the way he looks, like, he looks very healthy. And for me, that was the first time when I realized, like, everything that I'm capturing in my songs, other people will feel, and eventually they will feel it in their own way. That might mean they're going to remember this memory. They might remember that memory. It's always different for every person, but either way, everybody's going to go through their own thing listening to my songs, and that's all I care about. That's the only reason I even kept doing it, because once I realized, like, damn, like, these people, they feel what I'm saying, that's when I was like, I don't care about anything else but making that type of music. I don't care about getting my views up. I don't care about getting my my fault. Weird. Thank you, bro. But, like, I don't care about getting none of that up. I just want to get my I just want to help people. Real talk.
One of the interesting things uh, about music, I mean, something that was apparent to me was when Drake first came out. Now, Drake is a great artist, like, a legend in the music industry. So shout out to Drake and his content. Definitely got, a lot of people, a lot of my friends, a lot of guys that I know, women especially, through like heartbreak and breakups and this and that. I remember just his sound, because he came into the game with such a unique, way of freestyling and singing at the same time. It was kind of soft. You know what I mean? And I'm coming from a generation of like, we listened to Loaded Lux, Chic Luch, DMX, 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks, for example, his mainstream music was as soft as it got, and it was kind of like, it wasn't all that kind of soft, you know what I mean? But it was still, it was mainstream. So I personally didn't like that hit, like all his songs that were mainstream, but I like more his like freestyle mixtapes and things like that. Yeah. But when Drake came on, Drake kind of just brought a whole new energy that it, like, looking back at how men have changed from that, in my opinion, I think men became a lot softer, like more like, I don't think it was like a net positive with regards to how men changed because of his music, but his vibration, what he put out there, changed like so many guys. Right. Like, it's crazy.
It did. I 100% agree.
What would you say to like youth, young high schoolers who listen to your music? What's the underlining message within your music, and what would you say to them that would listen to your music, that I don't know if all your music is giving people that like that inspiration to keep on pushing. I don't know if you have songs that are focused on, like, for example, there's a song, it's called Win. I don't know by the artist, but it's like win 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 win. Which one? I don't know who the artist is, but like if I'm feeling like, all right, I gotta like pump myself up, I'm going to the gym, like I listen to that kind of music. What would you say to the youth with regards to like your music? Like what is the it factor about your music?
I would say the overall message, basically. I would say the overall message for my songs is basically just like, you're not alone. But really, like, that's really what comes down to. And if you are alone, it's a blessing and you don't even know it, real talk. Because, I went to predominantly white high school, and at this high school, I felt so alone. Like, literally, I cannot tell you, throughout most of my life, I didn't really have any people of color that were my friends. I just had family. Yeah, man, I barely had people of color in my friends. I just had my family who was, right? Because, so I'm Puerto Rican, black and white. So, I do have white in me, but it was funny, bro. It was like I never belonged anywhere in a way. It was like, if I'm not white enough to be white. Obviously, I look somewhat mixed. Sometimes, depending on how my hair is, you think I'm only Spanish, so then you're just like, oh, he's Spanish, blah, blah, blah. Then sometimes my hair is long and you're like, oh no, he's black, so maybe, but not really. You know what I'm saying? It was like I never fully fit in, and the thing is, most of the people I was around let me know that. They let me know that, man. Like, out in that school, it wasn't simply all fun and games. Like, racism a real thing, bro. Like, that shit is 100% real, bro.
You've experienced a lot of racism,
bro. So fucking much, bro. Excuse my language, but like, it's a real thing, bro, and it happens in those white type of schools. And I'm not gonna say the school itself is like that. The school helped me a lot, and later on down the line, it got a lot more diverse. Like, to this day, the school is extremely diverse now. But when I was first going through it, there was so many different things that happened that, looking back on it now, I literally realized that was racially connected. Even getting in trouble, like, so many different times I got in trouble with another kid, and all these other white kids were involved, and they would all pin it on me. And then not only would they pin that shit on me, but then on top of that, I would have to explain myself and get the worst disciplinary. I would get a HIB, which is basically like harassment, intimidation, bullying, right? So they painted me out to be like a bully, when it was a whole, it would be like a miscommunication thing, or like a kid talking trash. I talk trash.
Right. Because you were getting bullied, you were getting harassed, or
Yeah, I would get. I mean, in the beginning, it was more of just like little subtle jokes, right? Like, oh, porch monkey. But that's not subtle. That was
I
one of those
mean
big ones.
that's
Yeah,
wild.
no, that's a big one. But I got that called to me. But it'll be like little things like, oh no, you're black. You should be able to do it. Or oh nah, you sit alone. Or you sit on the back of the bus.
Yeah,
What
little things like that.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? But those type of things called me get into so many fights though, cause I didn't just let once I socked the first kid or like slapped the first one, or at least tried to, cause sometimes I went and my one boy I'll never forget, I swung on this kid, and shout out my boy Matt McConnelly, man, cause he a real one for that. But he held me back though, like he held my backpack back, and it was in the middle of the hallway, and I threw the punch at this kid who I'm pretty sure if I remember he called me the hard R N word. And that's the only reason I went and I socked him, because I was like, I threatened him not to say it. He was like, oh yeah, what you gonna do? I was like, say it. Like, it was heated. He says it. The minute he says it, I go swing, and my boy pulls my backpack back, and my arm literally just misses him. And because I didn't hit him or nothing,
You didn't get in trouble?
yeah, nah, because we were walking out to the buses, so the principals ain't see it, nothing like that. So that was the one time I got out of trouble for it. But a lot of the fights that happen are from that. But because I started them, right, and because I'm one of the only black kids in the school, it was always, for the majority part, it was my fault. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, though, not all of them are my fault. There were some times where I was a troublemaker in school, and I'll admit, like, I had a lot of energy. But I would say a lot of that had to do with them not kind of understanding me and my culture, right? Because me and my culture, we're energetic human beings. Like Puerto Ricans especially, we're loud. We're
yeah,
loud, yo.
loud
That's who we are. But in class, it's like, oh, right up, go to principal's office, like, do this, do that. And anytime I'll be there, I didn't get many warnings. It was a simple, nope, detention.
Did that bullying make you sharper?
Yeah, definitely. Because, it just showed me if you put your foot down early, it don't happen no more. And once I did that, like I said, once I talked to that one kid, like once it got out, the one fight or whatever, the one little situation, most people knew, okay, he's not the one to play those type of games with. And it wasn't he's scary or stuff like that. It was more of the fact of, like, you can't just be telling anybody that, you know what I mean? You can't just tell someone, oh, sit in the back of the bus because you're black or you're a porch monkey. Like, you can't be telling no one that and think you're not going to get smacked. If anything, I'm doing them a favor, because
Right.
watch you get in the
them,
real world and you do that.
Teaching them a lesson.
Men need adversity. I think they need pressure. You know what I mean? Like, because that builds you for the real world. Like, it's unfortunate, but fortunate at the same time. You know what I mean? Because it pushes you to face things, and build character. That's really what it is. You know what I mean? You build character.
And that's also that comes back to also what else is on the music too, though, because I also I speak. That's why when you ask that question, I could answer it with just by saying, don't be alone. But there's so much underlying. That's why for everybody who is watching this podcast, if you are watching it, you're obviously interested somewhat. So I would really say go listen to my music, right, and just listen, just hit shuffle, because you'll hear this one element, but then you'll hear another element, and you might think I'm this way, but then you'll be like, oh wait, nah, you that way. And I'm bringing a whole bunch to the table, right? So yeah, it's about not being alone, but it's also, like I said, if you are alone, what can you do with that? If you keep going, right, keep your head up. I got a lot of that in my music. I also got stuff about, getting your heart broken. My ex did me dirty as hell.
Let's talk about that, man. I'm interested in the
Relationship talk.
My ex did me dirty.
So speak on that and so what? Explain the love story, man. What's good? We all go through.
Right. Yeah. Nah. Facts. Like I had this one girl when I was in high school. I think it was my junior year summer. I got with her and stuff. And I'm not going to say her name on here. I ain't going to do none of that. But she just did me extremely wrong. I think, like, it was just a long story, but I just don't want to put her business out there at all. And some people might know her, so I don't want them to be like, oh, but all I'm gonna say is she just didn't do me the right way, and she knows she didn't. And I found out, and let's just say I found out from that person that was involved, and it was just it fucking broke me, bro. Like, that's when I really realized,
all go
bro.
through that.
But nah. What's crazy is how real heartbreak is. Like, I woke up the next day and I had a headache. My eye fucking hurt. I had a whole eye like sore because my heart. I was so
became
I
a
had
physical.
yeah, because I was with this girl for a few months, and then it was like I really thought, like, yo, she's like, wow, like this is everything I thought. And then when she did it, it made me look at her totally different. and then I was back alone again. But when you go from months being with someone to back alone, that quick transfer, it seems unreal. It seems like nah.
At that age, you have a lot to learn still with regards to the nature of women. You don't really know. You're thinking that she's loving you the way you're loving her, you learn quick.
Nah, you do, man. Because after that, like, it made me, like I said, I made a song later on about it. It's called Broken Bridges. It's on my SoundCloud page. But that song right there, it just, I had to. It let everything out. It allowed me to base it. And I didn't put any crazy detail of what happened in the song. Because like I said, I'm a respectful person. I like to stay to myself. I don't like to, if I don't want my business out, I'm not gonna put other people's business out. That's just who I am. So I just realized, like, I do need to make this song though, because I need to get this shit off my chest. So I did. And let's just say I made a version before it, which was a lot more.
You're in college, right?
Yeah, I'm in college.
So
now.
let me ask you this, because we're talking about women. So what is your opinion on, like, women your age, like, let's say 20, 21? Like, how do you see them now? Are they too into this? Or
it's bad. There's definitely some I definitely met a lot of girls that, not a lot. I never met a lot of girls that aren't, I met probably, like, I would say one girl at my school that she's really, like, grinding, self-made, and she's just focused, she's on her shit. But I would say for the majority, what I do see a lot of people misguided, and that's really all it comes down to. It's not even a matter of them. It's not their choice. It's just they're just trying to stick to the script. They want to make their parents proud. But at the same time, since they're on their phones so much, they're following the trends. They're following, shout out city girls, but, it started a whole different wave in our day and age. And that wave that it started, some of these girls take it more than city girls even expected it to be. Because that's why I realized with artists is sometimes they didn't make these songs to be like, man, I want you all to do. Nah, some people make these songs because that's how they feel, but they don't realize other people take it a certain way. So some of these people are listening to these songs, and now they're like, fuck it, I'm going to go fuck 6 niggas, and yeah, I'm lit. Yeah. But it's like, that's not what's
It's like reality TV, too. Right. Like the shows, like the reality TV shows, it's like they're trying to emulate the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
What would you say if let's say you had a sister, or a sister, your sisters, what would you say to your sisters if you had to give them some advice with regards to the music that they're listening to, the city girl, Cardi B kind of type of music, what would you say to them?
To my sisters, I would just be like, straight up, like, I get it. I understand. It is entertainment. It is good too. If I'm being honest, some of those songs are fire. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I never listened to Cardi B. I never listened to City Girls. Like, I listen to all types of music. That's what a lot of people need to understand is I love music as a whole. If that's a female artist, if that's a man artist, I'm gonna listen to it. I'm not just going to listen.
For the record, I never listened to Cardi B. None of them.
Nicki
weirdos.
too. Nicki hard too.
Look, I'm like,
respect, and I get it though.
I'm like anti any of the things that you know what I'm saying. Like,
I second that.
And I respect you guys 100%.
When you get older and you you have sisters, I can't imagine.
Oh no, so go on point.
Like seeing my sister on OnlyFans, bro. My family is not with none of that.
And I'm gonna tell you. So my sister, she did kind of follow that Cardi B trend a little bit when it was out. That's all I'm gonna say. You should already know what I'm talking about. And when I seen it and I seen she followed it, like she was doing it, I was like, yo, delete that. And I was really honored about it, just because I get what's going on, but I don't want niggas looking at my sister like that. And she got mad at me for a little bit, and she was like, we were going back and forth and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, she understood, took it down, and ever since then we've all been good, because I appreciate that. But because that's my sister, man, and I know how men are, and that's the scariest thing. So I know how men are looking at this young girl and they're thinking to themselves all these things. I don't want that.
You're the frontline defense, bro.
Yeah, that's what
you're
I'm realizing.
The frontline defense. So that what you did.
And
right.
she really did listen. I appreciate that. So
let me ask you this question: Did growing up, did you have both your parents, your mom and your father in your life? Mm-hmm. What role did they take in your development?
Man, they played a great role for my life. I'm very blessed. I'm very, very blessed. Had my hardships, but I'm definitely very, very blessed, because I do have two great parents. My father, um, basically working in sales his whole entire life. Well, not whole entire, you know, McDonald's, worked his way up, stuff like that. But he worked in sales. My mom, she's a hairdresser, and she does, what do you call it? Like all types of hair. She does, you know, man, she worked in a barbershop before, so she could braid, all this types of stuff. So my mom, you know, right now she a hairdresser. My dad, he in sales. And I would say my mom would play the factor, because it's funny, right? Puerto Ricans, they love their boys. They love them, like especially Puerto Rican mothers. They love them. But then black fathers, they love their daughters. They love their daughters. Like I think honestly any father, that doesn't just mean a black father.
Yes, I hear that.
Like fathers, they love their daughters. So my family, what it was, right? And I have two brothers too, but they're older, so they're at the house, right? So Ryan and Jerry are my two brothers, and then I got Taylor, Mia. Yeah, Taylor, Mia. But basically, growing up, it was us three in the house, though, right? When I was growing up, we were all around the same age, so we were the ones that, when I'm going to school, they're going to school, like growing up together. And I would say it was a lot of, if they see this, they gonna laugh, see this. But it was a lot of like my dad protecting them.
Fighting for attention?
I wouldn't say fight, maybe between them two for my dad's attention, because me and my mom, we were good. Like, at the time, I'm the only boy, and my mom would always make sure I'm protected, which I love, because sometimes, you know, me and my dad, sometimes we get into little arguments, stuff like that here and there. And sometimes, you know, my mom will be a little overprotective sometimes for me. But then at the same time, when it came down to my sisters, my dad would be overprotective for them. So it evened itself out. It definitely evened itself out. But I would say, like, overall, we definitely have, like, my family's not perfect. We definitely have our little things here and there and stuff like that. But we all love each other. Like, that's one thing I'll admit that I'm very grateful for, is that when it comes down to a part of me being able to be alone, is that I had a house where, yeah, arguments happen sometimes. It was loud sometimes. But at the end of the day, I could still lay my head and realize, okay, I got who I need, right? Because once I was at the school, I never felt almost like every homie at the time, other than my boy, like I said, Jay Tavo, he was like one of my real homies in high school and middle school that like really showed me. And my first homie, his name was Will Torres. That's my boy. Shout out Will Torres, man. But he was my first homie in middle school for real. Him and Jason, I knew both of them. Jason and Jay Tavo. So I knew both of them. And Jay Tavo was just, when Torres moved, Jay Tavo, he just stuck by me, and he really like allowed me to realize, like, you only need a certain amount of people. You don't need everybody. You just need a certain amount of people who are grounded, somewhat like you, right? And are positive. And if you could keep them around you, because when I met Jason, or like when I started being real close with him, I didn't have anybody. I was just doing music. And then I met him, or I started working with more and more, and we got closer through our music and stuff like that. And it was something that at the end of the day, it became like beautiful. I realized like all I need is my family and my friends I make music with. That's it. Because once I knew Jason, right? I knew him for a while, but then I was in school, going to school, doing our thing, and then we just got closer, and eventually I got into music, and he kind of like, you know, got into it as well. And then we just kind of went back and forth. He engineered my song, like I said, posted, winded up going down the engineer route, producing route, and then eventually he got like inspired, and he just did a whole he switched from being a producer engineer to a straight artist himself, but like live music. Like he could play guitar and shit. He's fucking raw. And then now all we do is just hang out and just, bro, we just create. It's crazy. Like we do everything.
Come here one day and have
bro, that piano, he'll rip it. The drums, like, he'll rip it. That's my guy, for real. Like, that's my guy. And so is, like I said, the other people too, Just Ojo La Peso. They then moved my junior year. So when they moved, both of them moved. The story about them is crazy and how we met. But then they came in, and Ojo had a voice. Peso was into music, but didn't have a lot out. And actually, I don't think he had anything out. And then he hopped on the song. I posted it, and everyone in my school started going crazy about it. And then from there, he just started like dropping hella songs. And we just all helped develop each other's sound. Like we would be in the studio. It started off with it was my Mac in the studio. I had cracked plugins and stuff like that. We just started making hella music. We mix master these songs, stuff like that. And then eventually everybody, like I went to college. So everybody got inspired, was like, yo, now it's time for them to get their own stew. So then Peso got his own stew first. Then Ojo got his own stew. And then now everybody just found their own sound. Like everyone got their own sound they creating. And, you know, with Tavo, like this type of we be doing, we do acoustic. I'll sing on acoustic sometimes. He'll make a whole beat. I'll add the drums, or he might add the drums. I'll do the melody. We go back and forth this stuff, but all we do now is just trade off each other's energy and like make, like, if I make a song right now with Peso and Ojo, it will be a hit. Not only will it be a hit, and that's not even being cocky, I'm just being honest because of our energy. And not only will it be a hit, but then if I make a song with J Tavo, it'll be a hit, but a different type of hit. It might be a fucking, like, a whole different element. But like, all our music is it's a different vibration. It's a different area.
Do you know of an artist? He's not like fame. I mean, he's well known, I'm assuming, but I know about him. His name is Rudy Current. You ever heard of that?
Rudy Current.
Well, what he does is he like does covers for songs, and I'm gonna send you like some.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
He's someone, I don't know if it's exactly what you guys do per se, but he does like live music where this guy's really talented. I mean, it must be 10 years since I know him. So he's he's like an older guy in the game, but I know, I'm gonna show you him.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to see it. Yeah.
One of the things about him, he got a video out, and there's his guitar player in the background, right? I don't really recall what song it is. It's his guitar player. It's a guy. He has like locks, like I do, and like I can just see, artists. They're very creative with things, and they listen to sounds. I think I spoke to Kyle about this the other day. When I listen to music, I hear it. It's whatever. When Kyle listens to music, he's listening in depth into like the beat, and like he hears things that I'm not really attuned to. And this guitar player in the background, when you watch, I'm gonna send you the video. When you watch the video, you could just see how fully involved he is into the music. He's like, you could see his face and his facial expressions and how he's really listening. He's like channeling. It's almost like he's channeling his energy through the music, like to the point where I remember it now. Like it's something that I'm talking about.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, it's
That's a goat, bro. That is a goat. Tavo will tell you a lot about Jimi Hendrix too, because one thing about Tavo's, like, when he started playing the guitar, right? That's one thing we always talk about, is how great Jimi Hendrix could play that. Right, and it's just like the way I'm not gonna say Tavo playing anywhere near that, but you know what I mean. Just the way he took that influence, and then when he plays, it's just like he picked it up really fast. And I think one thing that I learned about not only Tavo but my boys too, Ojo and Peso, is that when you really take your time to learn it, when you say screw the views, right, screw the money, screw all that. When you just learn the craft you want to learn, so if it's piano, if it's jazz, if it's anything, you just learn that craft, right? You will be amazed at how far you could get with that one craft in a matter of a year, 2 years, even a month. If you're strictly grinding it, like, you will be like, wow, I never knew I could do this. Because I just started learning piano like a few months ago, and now like I'm pretty, shout out Shy Bugs. He helped me definitely learn a few things with piano, but he's one that also inspired me too to really take it more serious too. Because one thing about piano is I feel like if you could play piano well, you could really play, like, make any type of beat you want.
Really?
When it really comes down to it, because a lot of beats come down the melody.
Yeah. I want to learn how to play the piano
because of what he said. That's why I want to learn too.
Yeah, right.
To learn how to play the piano. See, my thing is,
awesome.
I have a scar, man, from football. When I played football, I broke my finger and I never really got it fixed. So
Damn.
the playing the piano is gonna be a little rough. For
you gotta
me.
get an extension, bro.
Yo, that's crazy. What happened? So it stays like this.
So yeah. So basically, what ended up happening is there's a tendon that's on top of your finger, right? Like right here. There's a tendon.
Oh, okay.
And then there's 2 tendons on the side. So what ended up happening was that it broke or whatever, and it also broke the tendon. So the tendon split.
Damn.
And now instead of it being up here, it's on the side. So in order for me to fix it, I have to re-break it, and then they take the tendon and
that's a lot.
That's a lot of work.
That's what happens for trying to be a gladiator, man.
I was a complete gladiator in the Roman circus, bro.
What?
I mean, I played football, so we're all just.
What was your position?
I was a safety.
What's up, bro? That's what I was. Yo, back in my day when I used to play, I was a safety, bro. I love that position, bro. That position was fire.
it's in my opinion, it's the best position on the field.
Yeah, I really like being safety. Bro. Corner is tough too, though. Cornerbacks, I think they're hard too. Cornerbacks, you really gotta like lock up. Like you and him just lock up. Like you gotta give him credit though. It's to me that's one of the hardest positions.
Corner is one of the hardest positions.
Like safety might be the best, but to me, corner is one of the hardest because them receivers are good, bro. Even
nowadays,
not even just
different.
NFL. Some of these kids in high school, bro, you'll be even in these areas right here, like North, East Orange, bro. These kids are raw. Like they're good, bro.
They're way better than when I played the kid.
Bro,
because now they got actual training that you all you need is your phone really, and you have trainers posting their content for free. If I was in high school now, I would just do everything that they're doing. It's different. And
I think I'm pretty sure East Orange. I'm pretty sure they just won the championship too.
Really?
Yeah. So shout out them. Putting jersey on crazy. Yeah. They're going crazy because their team. I'm telling you, bro. They're a great football team, bro. Like, and I'm not even just saying just them. I feel like I'm not even gonna say just Jersey, but definitely I see a lot in Jersey. Like, there's a lot of great talent in a lot of different areas. Football especially, I would say, but definitely like you got areas like when it comes down to music, there's so much untapped talent, and the reason I know that is because those individuals I told you in my own group, there is so much talent that group alone to the point where I realized like there has to be more. There has to be more throughout the area. Like it can't just be we're the only ones in the whole world.
Are you guys like making constant content together?
I mean, it's just hard right now because I'm in college, right? And the college be whooping my butt, and I'm trying to finish it. And they're back at home and stuff, and some of them are in college. I believe they might all be in college. So everyone's like kind of doing their own thing. So, but it's like we're still close. We still come through and make music. Like we're always making songs for the most part. But sometimes the content aspect, we try to do a lot of music videos. Like that's one thing we try to do big on. But, I know we talked about taking your clips, right, and actually starting to promote them more. That's something we've been trying to learn a lot more, right? Because the reason I feel like we haven't done it fully yet is because we don't fully understand it yet, right? Like,
gotta get on the clips, man.
I don't know if it's a good idea to clip my music videos 7 times.
Is
it though?
It is.
Because I'd be like, I don't want to show people.
So this is what I've learned so far. And mind you, I'm new to the content world. Like I'm fresh. This is not my, I love it though. I've learned to really love it. I'm learning, and as I learn, the more I learn, the more I want to succeed in it, right? And what I've like come to realize, it's that at the end of the day, it's like with your music. Some music, it may be for someone, and that song may be like somebody else may completely hate it and say that's not it. So it's the same kind of thing. Like we may clip this podcast, and you may say something that to someone it may change their whole life. The same, it may draw them into the content. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And your music has already done that. So it's like whatever you put out, some people may like it, some people may hate it, but at the end of the day, the machine that is YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, these platforms are just it's like you're feeding them just content, and they just need to be it's like they're beasts, and you just need to feed. So what we started doing is repurposing our content. So we'll make a clip, and then we'll take that same clip and break it down maybe to a minute.
You got to chop it up and put it in the algorithm.
Just put it in the algorithm just to see what hits. Like we don't know.
You don't know what soul you're gonna touch.
Nah, you're right. Dang, man. Yo, clip that. That's some shit right
you
there.
You really don't know.
Nah, exactly, man. And that's why like I said, I realized real quick, especially with going through that stuff, is that life is nowhere near promised, bro. Like I swear I would not be the one to get cancer. Like even though I didn't really think about it all the time, I never thought disease, anything. I'm good. And then when I got it made me realize, like, bro, like nothing is guaranteed. You gotta not only appreciate every day, but if you go tomorrow, are you really happy of like what the stories that people are gonna tell? Right? Are you happy about that? Or do you look at those stories and you're like, I could have done better, or man, I should have just done that. Nah, like you still got time. If you're watching this podcast, you got time right now. You can change everything right now after this. But it's just a matter of don't just come to this earth, right? Don't just be here just to leave a mess.
You know what I learned? I'm gonna tell you something that it was a recent revelation, kind of something that I it's something that happened to me, maybe 10 years ago. I changed. So I'm Native American. So in our culture, we celebrate our nativity date, right? So nativity means the day that of conception. So my mom was a virgin. She had me, and that day that her and my father married or came together, that's like the date that's like my gestation. Like I came to be that day from then on, right? So there's also your birthday, like the day you were born. So years ago, like I had Facebook like everybody else, and you just put your birthday. I changed my birthday. I'm talking about years ago. And it's interesting. You learn something about who really thinks about you, or who knows, who's really like in your life, in your circle, by who like knows or remembers, or not even they may not even know. They just reach out. Just you may change your number. Who's gonna ask for your number? Who's gonna ask hit you up and say, hey man, I hit you up and you didn't get a response? Like, what, you all right? Like, you learn that not everyone is really there for a long time. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like
Some people are there like temporarily.
yeah, like it's you'll be surprised. You change your birthday, and then see who really knows when your birthday is, or change you know what I mean? It's like people will be surprised by how few people actually will show up to your funeral. You know what I mean? You may think that you're gonna have all your boys and 1,000 people, and when you really you may have touched 10,000 lives, and out of those 10,000 people, 4 or 5 people
come through.
Actually, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's one of the hardest pills to swallow, but I feel like it's also one of the most powering too, because then it's like, okay, if you might only have a few people come to the funeral, what could make people still talk about you after the funeral?
That's
you know what
key.
I mean? Because
Legacy,
exactly, and that's what I'm trying to do with my music. I mean, every album I put out, I literally, I got 2 albums. Starborn Legend, that's my first album, and then my most recent album, I dropped it September 22nd, 2022, and that's called Far From a Grave, right? And every album I ever dropped, I pay extra to get the legacy pack, it's called. And what that means is no matter what happens to me, those albums will stay on all platforms, because I'm an independent artist, I use a distribution service, and the distribution service, you got to pay every year. If you don't pay, I'm not 100% sure if they just go right ahead and take them down, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens. So for all my songs are out on SoundCloud. Like, you can always go to those will always be there. But until I make that transfer over to get it permanently on some other platform, whatever, or pay for all the other ones, as of right now, my albums are the ones that are secured, which is okay to me because my albums tell a lot of my story, and they also they're a lot real. They're a lot a lot more personal.
So do you have? I mean, I don't. Do you have any questions?
Go ahead. I was gonna mention something, but go ahead.
Do you have? How does that work? Is it like you have mixtapes? I'm old school, so I'm thinking, you put out songs that are kind of like your mixtape albums, and then you have you work all year for this one album or however long.
Or you have an EP, they call it, and that's just like a handful of songs.
Okay. So you have your EP, and then when you put that out. Is that like you make sure that your EP is like on Apple Music and Spotify and things like that, and then what happens to all the other songs that you release? You just put it out on SoundCloud, and then everyone has access to it for free. How does that work?
So basically, with the distribution service, right? I basically will put my music. I'll submit it to stores, so I'll get it out, make sure that my song is first on all platforms. So if that means I have to push the date back to drop it, okay. Sometimes I know a lot of my supporters will say that they realize that sometimes I'm late a lot. Sometimes I'll say, because that's the distribution, like if I want to drop a song on the 22nd, I submit it a week early, sometimes that's not enough. So when the 22nd comes, your album might not be live for another week or two on all platforms. But that's where I go to SoundCloud and I make sure every single thing I drop is put on my SoundCloud so that the whole world could still hear it for free. So you have access to all my music for free. Like, I don't do any of this for money, bro. Like, I don't, like, real talk, if I'm being honest, I don't really care if I make a whole bunch of millions of dollars or not with music. That's not why I make music. I truly make music because, one, it's keeping me here. That's start off, because if I ain't have music, especially after football, I don't know what I would be doing right now. So one, hell yeah, bro, it's keeping me here, and two, it's keeping other people here, right? And I feel like to keep other people here, after whatever they went through, right? If I know when I leave that 2 people are still listening to my songs and they're like connecting soulfully or spiritually to my songs and healing from it, to me that makes me okay, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep. You know what I mean? I'm not just gonna give up or stop. Even if I'm not a multi-millionaire, like, it's okay. I'm not doing it to blow up. I'm doing it so that even when I'm not here, people can still be like, yo, this Dollerie song, when he dropped this back in, it really helped me.
Yeah, it's not all about the money, man. Like, money is a tool.
Yeah, it's cool. Don't get it wrong. Like, I'm a hustler. Like, I like making my money, but I'm not reliant on my music career to make my money, because I feel like if I do that, my music's not gonna be authentic. I'm gonna just do every song to make a check. I'm gonna do everything for some money. Like, oh, I gotta get this song done so that I can pay my rent. Like, I don't. And also on top of that, then you're pushing your career on when I get that bag, right? So then, okay, now what do you do when you get that bag? Now you gotta keep it up. And it's like, if you're reliant on that bag, your songs start to become super like artificial, just because now you might be following the trend because you're desperate. You need, you know what I mean? So I want
Sell
my
your
music
soul.
That's deep.
I just want it to be real. At the end of the day, I just want people to really like my music for what it is, and not because I got some, money behind it. Even my outfits, bro. Like, I used to cop a lot of designer. That I feel like shifting my music is also what shifted my style in a way. I used to cop so much designer. I had a pair of Balenciagas, right? I had all this shit. And I'm glad I sold my Balenciagas early. But I sold them way before. But
why you say that in regards to what happened recently?
Yeah, bro, shit's crazy. But yeah, I sold my Balenciagas way before that though. They were the first shoes I performed in. But the reason I sold them is because I would sometimes go to like parties and stuff, or go to my cousin's house and stuff like that, and I would have these $1,000 sneakers on. And some of my cousins, they're still literally in the hood. Like, I'll still go and see them and stuff. And I would just, like, they would ask me, oh, what are those Balenciagas? And I know they look them up later on or whatever. And I didn't like doing that. I didn't like just having this flashy shit on my feet, a whole rack. Other people can't even, a lot of people can't even get close to rack that quick sometimes. And I'm just like, oh yeah, we're on my feet. So I started dressing much more normal. And I feel like the cool thing about it is it made my style more authentic, but it also allowed people to really listen to my shit for me and what I'm creating, not because I'm flashy or not because I'm flexing, but because like they want to hear what I'm saying. Like,
my brother, I could relate 100% to that, because I lived in Mexico for a period of time, like,
that's hard.
And I will go there often, right? And I had the same experience, like, you're coming from here, so you're putting on. Back then it was the jerseys, right? Mm-hmm. And it humbled me real quick. I'm like, you're standing out, they're looking at you, and like you said, they're looking it up, and it's like, nah, man, let me just tone it down. Because they're less fortunate and things like that, it made me feel like, nah, I'd rather just blend in with y'all.
Nah,
can I just get my sweater back? This dude has a sweater. I don't care what he say. Yo,
that's how me, bro.
I want my sweater back, man.
I feel that, because I got me and my boys, like, people be like, when we go to each other's crib, everyone got a stool down in their crib. So sometimes a session at my crib, sometimes it's at my other homie's crib. But either way, when we go to each other's cribs, like, homie put my flops on just to come upstairs. Somehow my flops ain't in my crib.
Right.
Peso. where my flops at? But you know what I mean? Like, you share. If you brothers at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's my brother. He could have it, but it's mine though. Like, I had it
he
from.
He swears it's his, man, but I
got receipts and I got witnesses, bro.
I mean, it might be his, but it might be mine.
You know what it is? It's because it's official, bro. It says Flight Club and it has the number 13.
That's actually fire.
It's a dope hoodie, man. I had that hoodie.
It got the lucky number 13. That's why.
Is it stitched or is it just?
It's stitched on from Flight Club. You know in New York, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, so like
that's fire. That's hard.
Yeah. Back then when I was into all that, bro, like into the whole, like you said, designer and flashy, I'm like, man, forget all that. Like,
I never been into that. All I cared about was my football things. Like, I needed so when there was these shoulder pads, I forget the name of them now, but they were like white, and they only gave them to all Americans. I had my pair of like these. They weren't like regular plastic. They were like some aeronautics, like crazy type of plastic, and they were real light. So
aerodynamic.
Yeah, there was there was some crazy.
Everyone needs to experience that. Like you said, like here's the hood, right? But take it to a third world country. Like that times 10 what you went through, like that, it'll make you open your eyes for real.
Right now, like I'm wearing infrared sixes. Like that's not a cheap sneaker. So like I get it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I never cop. I still like to be fresh, bro. That's what it comes down to. Like I like to be stylish. I like to wear my own clothes and look fresh. But nowadays I'm not going out of my way to cop no $1,000 sneakers, $500 sneakers. The Alexander McQueens, they're insanely fire. I want them so bad. The reason I haven't got myself or my father, I was supposed to big out him a pair. I'm gonna do that instead. Most definitely, it's supposed to happen this Christmas. But the reason I didn't get it for myself is because I'm like, yo, it's the same kind of thing. Those are still $500, and you're just walking on them, and yeah, you look great. But there's a lot of people out there that
it's better, in my opinion, to have your own brand.
Yeah,
and wear your own.
That's hard as hell. A lot of people been doing that.
That's really what you want to do. You want to have your own. Yeah, you want to have your own, because at the end of the day, people who you represent, as an artist, you're gonna have your fans, and they're gonna want to purchase your things. They're gonna want to get to know you. Like, as far as I could see how authentic you are, I know for a fact you're gonna be successful. You're gonna definitely, if you don't already have like a good group of people that follow you, and it's, you have your own brand, they're gonna purchase your stuff because it's you. They're buying into who you are, not all the fake things that you could represent. It's actually who you genuinely are.
Yeah, keep growing, brother. Keep on that same path, because a lot of we met a lot of younger dudes that they don't have that mindset.
Right. Yeah, I get that too. And even with the fashion thing too, like I had like a whole merch line coming out, and it's still gonna come out. The website was live. I was selling stickers, magnets, but I work with a brand, Lock-In. Shout out Lock-In. I do marketing on the side because I learned how to market my own music. So then what I do now, just to make money, right, is I market for other brands that need it.
What's up?
Yeah,
we need marketing, brother.
Bro, I would love to help. But the one brand I work with that I do marketing with, his name is E-Man, or Emmanuel, but his company is Lock-In. So shout out Lock-In, he already know. But basically what Lock-In is like, I help him with his marketing and stuff like that. And in return, he hooked me up with some pieces and stuff. But we were gonna also do a whole collab, right? A whole collab, have a purple tech towel for football. We were gonna do this cool ass shirt with my Far From Grave album, and it's probably gonna come out. But the reason I haven't been rushing it is because I have some other projects I want to come out with. And I just really don't. I want to just create a little bit more. Like I don't want to start pushing a bunch of merch because I once again, the authenticity. Like I don't want people to just be like, oh, now I just try to make money. Oh, now like, oh. And I get it. You shouldn't always let what other people think. I know and I understand that. But at the same time,
you want to be prepared.
I want to be prepared, and I feel like I'm just not yet. I don't think I'm ready to be pushing a bunch of merch out. But when I am ready, maybe even with this podcast, it'll help me a little bit to be like, no, do it. And when I am ready, it'll be worth it, right? Because the designs I made already, like, it's crazy. I just did, I make all my cover arts. I make my music, my cover arts, all that. So all the cover arts I make, give or take a few, right? But all the cover arts I make, basically, I'm very, like, I take my time. What I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, I make it into the cover art. So I just took what I knew from that to making the shirts and stuff. Bro, it came out hard.
Yo,
like,
we need
it came out tough.
Need your cover art,
bro,
things,
100%,
music, so
100%.
we could put it inside. You seen?
I have a flyer right there too, in my backpack. But
did you see? You saw the Turn Up episode?
Hell yeah.
Did you see the whole episode?
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't able to watch the full, bro. And shout out Turn Up too, because I met him the other day, bro. Turn Up is a real one too. I met right before y'all did it though. But before y'all did it, like I was excited to say I came out. I watched a good amount of it though, not like the full. I watched a good amount of it, but bro, like I barely be having time with, like, college is a real thing, bro.
Yeah,
like that should be whooping my ass. I be feeling bad. Like my mom calls me sometimes, like, hey, just checking in, and I'm like, Mom, I meant to call you, like. It's so much on my mind. I gotta do this. Be this
time management, man.
Yeah, time management.
If you get a chance, if you get an opportunity, watch the
I will,
the last 30 minutes of it, or last I guess 45 minutes of it.
Bet.
And we put like his music in there.
Word,
you could see.
Fire.
We could do something similar with you as
bro,
well.
I would love to, bro.
It is dope. Like,
a lot.
And also shout out to myself because I'm over here learning how to do all these.
Maybe you could, as an exit, maybe you could spit something from one of the songs that you want, and we transition it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm down for whatever, man.
For sure. Like we did with Turn Up. So
Word?
that's what we did. So
Yeah.
Turn Up, he put on like one of his songs, and he debuted a song on our podcast. So
Oh,
shout
word.
out to Turn Up. I appreciate
Word.
that.
Turn Up setting the bar like
Yeah,
that.
he
Word,
debuted a
that's
song,
tough.
and like he put it on and he started singing it or whatever,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
then we slowly editing wise,
Right.
slowly put it into the
transition.
That's
transition.
fire.
It was an
dope.
ill transition.
Yeah,
Bet.
it was
All right,
cool.
bet. I will try it out. Yeah, I'm down with that. That's awesome, though, man.
So if you just closing up, because your boy told us 10 minutes.
Of course.
What would you say to the youth? Like what kind of, like, we're gonna definitely clip what you're about to say.
Appreciate it, man.
Finalizing. What message do you have to people, to the youth? How do you want to represent yourself? Like, what would you say to people? What do you have? What kind of positive message do you have? What kind of guidance you could teach people something right now?
I would just say, I'm just like the camera too. Just be yourself, and I know that's the most I feel like saturated thing, but it really comes down to it. Just be yourself. I know social media is a big thing that everyone's doing this, that, but I would say try to not be on social media so much until you know who you are. Like, find who you are. Really just take a minute, go, be by yourself. And that's why I always say it's a blessing to be alone, because just be by yourself, go within, and just try to really see who you are as a person, and why you're here. Like, what is your value here on earth? And then whatever you feel it is, if you like it, if you're telling yourself, okay, I did that, now what? And in those periods of time when you were trying to find yourself, you found that you love skateboarding, go crazy with skateboarding. And I mean, like, fuck around and make a whole skateboard brand, get the content going. And that's how I think of things, because I feel like if you love it, you'll do all the work to make it also your lifestyle. Like, for me, I'm at the point right now where, I'm in school, but even if I graduate, I'm still going to be able to, I got my shit on the side that's making me, live. And then I could keep doing music as an independent artist, which I love. So I'm not saying I'm opposed 100% to signing, but it's just I truly love being, and I've spoke with a few labels and stuff like that before. Like, I've had the option to possibly sign, but I think that it's more important to build a foundation, a structure, right? So don't focus so much on, especially with music, don't focus on just wanting to make $1 million or just wanting to make a bag with it. Focus on the craft of music. Really think about what it is that you're doing with the songs, right? What is the message you're giving other people? And really take that to heart, and then blast it up 10 times more. And I mean that for anything. If you're a football player, I don't care if they tell you it's a 1% chance. If you want to be in that league, work your ass off, and you'll see how far you could get, right? If you're not meant to be in the league, though, I'm sorry to tell you, there's going to be something that puts you in a different direction, all right? Because in life, not everything is, I hate to say, I don't think everything is just your choice. I believe you do have a destiny. I believe you're meant on earth for certain reasons, and I feel like, for me, my reason, it was music. I feel like music is something that's helping me connect to people, and heal myself. For other people, is different things. So don't just latch on to one thing and be like, nah, this is it. I'm not trying. Try new things. Be yourself. Go within. And really just, if you find something you like, turn it up. Like, go through it. Because real talk, that can heal everything. There's so much depression. There's so much anxiety, all this stuff. If you're going to your passion, anytime you feel any type of stress, anything, and you go to your passion to really help you heal it, you'll be surprised that that thing that you're doing is medicine right there. But what it is people want to just scroll. They just want to be on the phone, and they don't ever really want to go do the other stuff. But I'm telling you, if you really got something to love, just do it and be yourself. The world's yours when you really do it that way.
That's a fact.
So,
Well said.
Well
said, my brother.
Appreciate it.
Yo,
Thank you.
That's a fact, man. I
Hell
really
yeah, bro.
appreciate you having you on.
Yo, shout out Full Notice, man. Thank you for having me, bro. This podcast was awesome, bro.
Hopefully, we're gonna keep working. We're gonna keep grinding.
Definitely.
We're gonna try to be an example. We have tenacity. We're not gonna stop. So we want to
100%.
see this platform be a platform for everyone. We're gonna be looking to diversify, bring young artists, bring lawyers, bring entrepreneurs,
Yeah, bro.
bring doctors,
That's sick, bro.
We want to bring
That's
in
sick.
as many people as we can to share their story and to kind of give light to just themselves, their life. This platform could be a platform for healing. I know that when Turn Up was here, he had mentioned how much it really helped him. He felt good, just speaking out, like he felt
Same,
bottled
bro.
up. So
he inspired me too, because when we chopped it up over there, like we was literally like just talking about how the world needs more of this. Like it really does. It just needs more people being real, opening up. And someone like him, I talked to him a little bit about his story. I'll make it quick because I know we got time and stuff. But I know he's been through a lot, man. But the way how positive he is and his outlook on life is beautiful. It just shows you that if you really believe in yourself, because he believes in himself a lot. I peeped that from him a lot. But if you really believe in yourself, and if you really find what you're really here for, right? Like, and it takes a while. It's not something that comes you really gotta get a nice routine, be by yourself, be able to be by yourself. But when it will come, and when it does come, it's up to you to now put the work in it. No matter what you do in life, you still gotta follow the work. Talent is useless if there's no hard work behind it. I would have never got my sound if I never practiced it every day. I missed those parties. I missed so many parties. At one point, I felt like a fucking loser. But now, those same kids that didn't invite me to those parties or I missed, they will listen to my shit. They will comment on my shit. They will hit me up about my song. So, stick to what you know. Be yourself. That's all it comes down to. Real talk.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Of course, bro.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you guys for having me, man.
You want to
awesome.
spit a bar real quick or something?
Do you want me to put it on my phone or like?
Throw it on real quick.
Yeah, man. No problem.
Throw it on.
Let me see which one.
And that's what we're here to do, man. We're here to add change to the world and add value. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro. Real shit. That shit
The world needs this now more than ever.
I would love to have you and your friends on. I know you were talking about
hell yeah,
your boys.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because I
would love that.
I'll be interested to see how you guys bounce ideas and maybe even make some kind of music or something.
Bro, what? I would love to, bro. I'll tell them, bro, for sure, because they would love to do that. Because I'm telling you, all we do, bro, is we just create, literally, bro. And that's why when like we said, we chopped it up, we networked. That's all it was about. I'm gonna make sure that when I play this, it's not like, I don't want it to be too loud. That too loud?
No, and even on the post production, we fixed it up.
I bet. Yeah, I'm dropping this one. I'm not dropping this one for a minute though. This one gonna take some time. Y'all want it? Should I keep it low?
Put it back.
Somehow I got here. Ask me, I don't know. Ask me, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. All of my thoughts, it's all in my head. Yeah. Wonder why I escaped from lead. I could've bought me a place down there. I'm just gonna stay right here. Moving signs will make it soon. How they always come around. That's it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.